How's it going, everyone? I hope you are having a fantastic week so far. This is episode 2 of my weekly fragrance rotation. I started it last week, and if you want to check out what I wore the week before this last week, you can check out this video. And I love making these videos because I like talking with you, seeing what you're wearing and some of the fragrances that you picked up and are just trying on your skin. So let me know down in the comments before we start the video, before I start talking about my week. I want to hear about your week. What did you do? What did you wear? And what fragrances have you discovered? Let me know down in the comments. But this has been a nice eclectic week. I was just in the mood for some niche fragrances, some affordable Middle Eastern fragrances, some discontinued fragrances. We got a lot of fragrances to talk about, so don't go anywhere, make yourself comfortable, and let's jump right in. Got the coffee, recording the video like always. You know how we do it. So first fragrance that I wore this week was on Monday, and this was Michael Malul's Terra Nova. So this fragrance was the Gents. Ash creatively directed this one. It was his collaboration with Michael Malul. And I gotta say, this fragrance smells so incredible. This is one of my favorite office-friendly fragrances, and the funny thing is, basically every time that I've worn it, not this past week, but most of the times when I had worn this in the past, people would say, who smells good? They would come up to me and they would actually ask what I'm wearing. And that's not all that common, especially with a lot of fragrances, but I noticed it mainly with this fragrance in particular. There's something so magical about the way that this fragrance is blended. So you have a beautiful juicy bergamot up top. You also have some lotus and some ambroxan, which keeps it smelling very aquatic. You also got some amber and some other nice classic masculine notes like patchouli and sandalwood, but this smells extremely inoffensive. It's clean and it is sweet and juicy, and so it's a nice balance between that nice juicy fruit without being too overly in your face and too nauseatingly sweet like some designer fragrances out there, but it just balances that nice subtle sweetness with a beautiful aquatic ambroxan. And oh my gosh, does this smell good. This is heavily inspired by Bulgari's Tiger, but I think that this smells incredible on its own. But this stuff, it just smells perfect for the office, and it is so inoffensive and easy to wear. Not to mention this one lasts a good 10-12 hours, especially on my skin and on my clothes. So again, super inoffensive, and it just really lasted me all throughout my Monday, and it was a nice mood booster to start off the week very strong. And then next up on Tuesday, I decided to go for a niche fragrance. I was in a niche mood, especially early on this week, and this fragrance is so unique, weird, and just it's kind of mind-blowing. This one is Neandertal Them. So this is going to be one of the best musky fragrances that I have ever smelled. I tested this on my skin one time at a boutique in Lake Tahoe, and I walked around all day and could not stop thinking about this fragrance, and I had to go back and get it. It was just that life-changing. There's such a waxy, buttery quality, especially in the opening, and it's just very pleasing and just not like anything that I've ever smelled. I think it's also done from the carrot seed and the orris that is used here. It's also got a little bit of a sterile quality to this, so it smells a little bit like a dentist or a doctor's office. So it smells very clean. It's got a little bit of that strange quality to it. And I haven't really shared this with a lot of people, but I am type 1 diabetic, and I am used to giving myself insulin shots, or at least back in the day before I was on an insulin pump. But this kind of reminds me of the smell of insulin, and for all my type 1 diabetics out there, you know exactly what that smells like. But this just has a hint of that, and I just think it's so weird and really cool, and so for that reason, I decided to bust this one out. In the afternoon and in the evening, I tried this fragrance. This one is Together With You Leather Oud, or Oud Leather. I could not believe the price on this. I picked this up for $12.99 from Burlington. I just decided to pop in after work, and could not believe it. This stuff smells so nutty, leathery, and it's got a nice peppery, spicy backbone to it. So it's very warm, and it's definitely a winter fragrance. Maybe some tobacco in here as well, and definitely heavy on this leather. So it smells like the original Stronger With You, and it also feels like it takes some inspiration from the Spice Bomb Victor and Rolf fragrances, maybe the Spice Bomb Extreme, and also the Infrared. So it's a little bit fruity, and it has some of that nice peppery, spicy, warm quality to it. So this for $13, I couldn't believe it. Not the most expensive smelling fragrance, but I was really happy testing this on my skin, and I can't wait to do a full review on this one. And then for Wednesday morning, I decided to go with another niche. I went with something from the house of Amouage. This is Amouage Search, and this is my favorite Amouage fragrance of all time. Even better than Reflection, Interlude. This is my favorite. This has such a citrusy, boozy, smoky quality to it. So when I smell this, I think of a smoked old fashioned. So a very rindy, bright citrus, and it has that nice smoky bourbon. And as it starts to dry down, you do smell a smoky, resinous quality to this. So there are some resins, and I think maybe some like piney notes in here as well. So very woody, smoky, but I gotta say this stuff smells incredible, especially for the spring and the kind of warmer weather. So it is going to be super strong, especially if you go too heavy on the trigger. You only need about 2 sprays of this and you'll last all day. But I sprayed this one in the morning and smelled it well into the next day on my clothing. So Amouage Search is no joke. And then in the afternoon and right before bed, I actually pulled out a fragrance I talked about last week. This is one of my favorite nighttime fragrances. This is Prada's Amber Pour Homme, and I love the soapy, just warm, spicy quality with this one. It's got a beautiful saffron, you have some myrrh, and you also have some very strong, just fougere and just clean, soapy notes. So again, this smells like a rich, luxurious hotel, just body wash, and it smells like the most expensive bubble bath that you could ever imagine. And you also have just a touch of amber in here, so it's more soapy than it is amber. And so because of the name, and I wanted some amber in it, I tried Montale's Amber Musk, and so I layered it with that fragrance, and this just took it to another level. So it made it smell a lot more bright and in your face, kind of punchy, whereas that one was a little bit more soft, subdued, and spicy. This just added a ton of projection and made it smell almost like a fresh flanker to that. So this one really is a good layering fragrance if you want to make something that smells like a little bit more of an Ambroxan Amber Musk flanker to the original. So that's just an idea if you ever want to try that. And then Thursday morning, I went with a Nabeel fragrance that I don't know how I feel about this one. This one is Nabeel's Ocean. Now, when I first talked about this fragrance, I did a review, you can check it out up here, and originally I thought it was a pretty pleasing fragrance, but there's something in it just after wearing it for a little bit, it kind of bothers me. There's a very marine-like note in here that smells a little bit like seaweed. It's a little bit headache-inducing, and it's a little bit too floral for my liking. So I almost feel like it's an iris, or it could be like an ultrazure. I've been experimenting with some fragrance oils and aroma chemicals, and I feel like that marine ultrazure is what I'm getting out of this one that I just cannot stand in it. So maybe they put too much of that marine-like oceanic notes in here, but if that was toned back a little bit more, it would smell like a more oceanic version of Orto Parisi's Mega Mare. So a little bit of a twist on that. But I tried this one out to see if it had changed a little bit in the month or so since I had bought it, and it's still very strong, and I might end up selling this bottle. So that was in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I could still smell it on my clothes, and I decided I just need to wear another fragrance, change my shirt. And so I ended up going to a rack store. It was the end of a day, I had nothing really to do. I was like, I wanna go see what's out there. I ended up picking this Camara Perfumes fragrance. This is Monarch, and this one is the Pour Homme. So there's also a pink version of this, but I have not had such a visceral reaction to a fragrance like this one. So when I smelled it and I sprayed it on myself, I actually went, oh, like in the store. I know it sounds kind of silly, but this basically smells like Lacoste L1212 Blanc. So the white Lacoste fragrance. It's very floral, it's aquatic, and it's just very clean smelling. And so you have that with a nice fruity opening, and then as this starts to dry down, it smells very similar to that cool water green Irish tweed DNA without some of the kind of dill pickle vibe that you can get from that. But this does not have that, and it smells so much more high quality than it actually is. So like a blend between Lacoste white and something like green Irish tweed. So 15 bucks, this was a steal. Friday morning, I decided to go with a fun discontinued fragrance. This is Valentino Uomo Acqua. So This fragrance is sadly discontinued, but I ended up picking it up, and it does pop up from time to time, I think from Fragrance Net or Fragrance X. Check them and definitely sign up for the email notifications, because that's how I found out about this one. But this has such a beautiful mandarin orange opening, and I'm actually gonna wear this on myself because I just love it so much. Beautiful mandarin orange. You got some iris leather, just like the original. And oh my God, does this stuff smell sweet. It's aquatic, it's powdery, and it is a 10 out of 10 fragrance, and I don't know why they got rid of it. This is the perfect blend between citrusy, sweet, and just clean smelling. And so this also has a little bit of that kind of leathery backbone to it. So it really is just a nice all year round fragrance. It just does it all. People have been complaining about the performance and the longevity on this one. I don't get what they're talking about, because at least for my bottle, I get well over 10 hours or so. And especially if you spray a lot on your clothes, it lasts you all day. So I could still smell it like well into the afternoon from when I applied it in the morning. So maybe I just got a good bottle, but this stuff is so freaking good, and it's perfect for the spring and the summer. And then in the afternoon and in the evening, I met my friends for some dinner, and I wore this fragrance. I haven't touched this in so long. This is Fragrance World's Barakkat Ambre Eve, and this is going to be a clone, a twist on Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir. Now this fragrance is so vanillic. It's cinnamon-like, it's got some spiciness to it. It's got a touch of oud in there, I feel like, but this is the perfect cold weather, rainy day, vanillic date night fragrance. I decided to pick this one up because I hadn't touched it all that much since the initial review back in like Thanksgiving of 2022, I think. So it's been a while sitting on my shelf, but I'm so glad I picked this one up because I think it's still like $20 or so, and it smells very close to that Lattafa Eternal Oud, so it's like half the price. So this stuff is just kick-ass. So good on this stuff, and I could still smell it well into the next day on my clothing when I was kind of doing my laundry, and I was shocked at how strong it was still going because it smelled like I just sprayed it on myself. So this stuff is no joke. And then the next day, yesterday, I was doing a back-to-back battle between two fragrance clones. I was testing out Lattafa's Al Nashama Caprice and Fragrance World's Jack of Clubs. So I'm gonna put that video out after this one, so stay tuned. Maybe hit that notification bell if you're not subscribed so you can see how these two closely resemble the original YSL Blue Electrique and which one to buy, because there's clearly a winner here, so stick around for that one. But these definitely share that same vanillic cardamom with a nice energetic ginger and a little bit of that smokiness. But again, one is clearly the winner, so you'll have to stick around to see which one is the best. And it's kind of funny because I wore some on my forearm, my other forearm, and on my wrist, and just all day yesterday I have been just surrounded in a cloud of Blue Electrique-esque fragrance blasting in my nose. And then this morning, it was really cold outside, and I decided to go with a nice gourmand fragrance. I went with, come on, focus on the bulge. This morning, I decided to go with a nice vanillic gourmand fragrance, and I went with Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Mot Le Parfum. I have smelled the Elixir, and I don't think I need to buy any of the new flankers. I think this is the only Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male fragrance or flanker that I need to get, because this stuff smells absolutely fine as it is. It is perfect. It's a perfect cold weather fragrance. It was cold this morning, and this is exactly how I wanted to smell. This one has that beautiful vanilla, cardamom, lavender, and iris, especially in the opening, but this is a vanilla bomb. And with the cardamom, and I guess kind of like the last one, you know, I've been just in a nice, spicy, warm vanillic mood lately, especially with the Grand Soir clone with Blue Electrique, and now this one, I guess I'm in my sweet vanilla phase. It's been a while. But this one smells absolutely breathtaking, especially with that iris and the lavender. So got some nice spicy oriental notes in here, and it just smells extremely, extremely warm. Like it was perfect for this weather this morning. Super long lasting, lasted me all day, and then in the afternoon when I got home, I decided to put this on. I wore Acqua Essenziale Colonia by Salvatore Ferragamo. Now this fragrance is discontinued. I'm so sad because for the longest time you could find this at rack stores for like $20 for the big bottles, and it's becoming very hard to find. They're $50, $60 now, and you can still find them for a reasonable-ish price online if you know where to look, but you know, supply is definitely getting scarce, and before you know it, this is going to be gone. So definitely hold on to this fragrance, or if you see it for a good price under that $60 mark, pick it up because it is still so worth it. But this one has just a touch of sweetness from the bergamot. It's extremely aquatic. It's very classic, masculine, and almost like a barbershop fougere fragrance. So it's very calming, and it's basically my aromatherapy. Whenever I wear this, I just calm down. It's a beautiful, beautiful, relaxing fragrance. The lavender makes it smell extremely warm, and I think with the aquatic nature and some of the other kind of herbal notes in this, I think it kind of reminds me of a classic bubble bath. So something about this reminds me of my childhood, and I love it. Also got some vetiver in here, and it just smells extremely classy, timeless, and this fragrance is just a masterpiece. And it's also created by Alberto Morillas, so the master perfumer behind Acqua di Gio and countless other fragrances for men and women. Just a wonderful creation by Alberto Morillas. Definitely an underrated cheapie that is not so cheap anymore. And that one is Acqua Essenziale Colonia by Salvatore Ferragamo. So there we have it, week 2 in my fragrance rotation series. So got a lot of cool fragrances, and I just love the fact that I put a little bit more thought into these videos and what I wear for each day of the week, because I'm thinking I want to show you guys something new. I want to experience something that I haven't worn in a while, and I want to keep things fresh. So it's kind of cool to rediscover some oldies and also show you some new stuff in my collection. So let me know down in the comments if you have any new fragrance discoveries this week, if you picked up any, if you have any on the way, what you've been wearing this week. Just let me know down in the comments, and I love to chat all things fragrance with y'all. That does it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. You have an amazing week. Stay safe out there, and remember, you're awesome and you can do it this week. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Eli with Common Sense, and until the next time, bye-bye. Can't wait to do a full review on this one.
Lots of sun with a high of 78 degrees Fahrenheit.
I did not ask. I've been Eli with Common Sense. Thank you for watching. Until the next time. Bye-bye. Bro, I said that like mid-walk. I was out of here. Like Jeremy.
It's not good. What is it?
I don't wear any fragrance now. Well,